It's the 20th anniversary of 9/11, a very momentous day in history. And I've just been trying to imagine to myself what it must have been like to have been there, and specifically what it must have been like to have been a fireman who's just seen the first tower collapse. Because up until now you've been fighting a fire, and it's been up a lot of flights of stairs, so that's a complication. And you need to organise getting the gear up, and the relays, and rotating the men in and out, and making sure they've got enough supplies so that by the time you get more up, they haven't used up everything. But other than that, they can rely on their training. The actual fighting of the fire, handling casualties, and so on. But then when that first tower collapses, apart from the initial shock of knowing that a lot of people have been killed, including a lot of firemen, some of whom you might have known, you're looking at the remaining tower and you're thinking, that's going to go. You might not be an engineer, but you've got two towers that are basically the same. They've both been hit by planes, and one of them's collapsed. So it stands to reason the other one's going to go. And when it goes, it's going to go as quickly as the other one did. So if you're in it when it goes, you're not getting out. And so you're watching this tower, and you're going to go in, and it's going to take you several minutes to get up to the fire. And if you try to get out, it's going to take you several minutes to get out. And at any second it could go. And if you're in it at any point, you're not going to make it. And yet still they went up, again and again. And it's very hard for me to imagine that. I wonder if some of them might have been tempted to hang back a bit outside when they were out, either on their way in or they've just come out to get something and now they have to go back. Because maybe at the back of their mind they're thinking, if it goes now while I'm outside, I'll be okay. But then again, I'm not a fireman. And maybe they'd rather be inside. Because if they're outside, their friends are inside. But if they go in, one of the friends who's inside, he's going to come out. Because they're swapping in and out, maybe. And then maybe the guys who are inside, by the time word reaches them what's happened to the other tower, they're probably trying desperately to stay in for as long as they can, because they know as soon as they step out, somebody else is going to have to go in. Because all the while they all know this tower is going to go, and whoever's in is not going to make it. And so the question is, how are we going to get the right people to be outside when it does go? And so if you're trying to run it, maybe you're trying to get the younger guys out, or the fathers out, trying to slip in the older guys maybe who have no children. Or maybe you're contemplating just pulling everybody out right now while you've got a chance. Because there's no way you're going to put the fire out before it goes. But then maybe you're thinking, well, if we pull everybody out now and it stays standing for another hour, 2 hours, we could have saved a bunch of people, but we didn't. Or maybe you're thinking, it could go any second, so even if I order them out now, they're not going to make it. But if they keep fighting the fire, that'll keep it standing for longer. And who knows, we might even put it out. There must have been a hell of a lot going through their minds. Or maybe not. Maybe they were just focusing on the fire and it was just easier to focus on that and try not to think about it. But I don't know how they couldn't have thought about it. Very brave man.